Okay, so now for perhaps the toughest part of recreating this track from Don Diablo, or sort of, making it the same style as him, is getting that lead, because it's all about the lead. It's all about that particular sound and that tone that these future house songs have. So we're going to do our best now to get something similar. So we're going to load up a new instrument, and of course we're going to use our trusty Anna from the guys at Sonic Academy. And that's what we've got right now. So I think what I'm going to do is, if I just go to my desktop, and if I've already got the MIDI here that I want, because again, just to keep things flowing with this course, you can sit there, as most of you know, you can sit there for about 10 hours playing on your piano and nothing ever happens. So I've already gone ahead and got something that I'm hoping will be suitable, and we can keep things moving. So it's going to obviously sound pretty strange right now on the piano. What I can do is I'll just move it up to this guy, to the blank Anna. Okay, so that's what we're going to use for our melody, for our lead, and this will be the main element in our drop. So I'll get rid of that piano now. We don't need that. Okay. All right. So let's get started. This is a completely, I'll just press it again, but initialized blank patch. So, again, to keep things moving, I've got a fair idea of the different waves, the wave tables here that I'm going to use to combine and make a lead, which is hopefully what we're looking for. So I'm going to go with I'm going to start with this guy here, distorted 17. I think it's going to be standing for. I'm going to bring it down an octave. Okay, we'll see how we get on with all this. Now, just turn the volume up a little bit. I will also go ahead and 2-pole saturated, because it's actually got a bit of bit of pluck to it. So I need this to have some envelope on it. So I'll send it across here. So you can see this is just the different curve mode here. That's linear, soft, and that one's hard. Okay. Stick with that for now. Go into oscillator 2. Add one voice. And then we will saw talk R, I think it was. I'll just turn this down so you can just hear what it sounds like, number 2. So that's what it sounds like. There needs to be like a mute and solo for each oscillator. Guys at Sonic Academy, that'd be great, thanks. Okay, so oscillator 2. Saw talk, just turn it up a little bit more, and then, okay, so we'll leave that now. It's sort of building the right sort of sound. Then in here in oscillator 3, We'll give a couple voices. We'll go down an octave as well. We'll choose another one of these waveforms here. I think 7 was the one. And we'll give this a bit of volume because there's obviously none there at the moment. If I just take these guys out here, play them by itself. So you can tell straight away that this waveform here is, is very similar to his sounds. So this is going to be the main sound that we're going to work around, and oscillator 1 and 2 are going to be there sort of to support and help, and hopefully help build the right texture to make that overall sound. So we'll just do that for now. Okay. Bit of width. Obviously, you've got to have more than one voice in there for the width to actually work. So we'll add some width now that we've got 2 voices on this particular oscillator, like so. I think those guys both had just 1 oscillator each. One voice each. So you can tell already that just by combining these 3 oscillators with a little bit of filter envelope work done, we're getting close to something that's what we're looking for, and now we can get on to do a little bit more work, but obviously some processing afterwards is going to help get that sound that we want. Now I think actually in this one here, you can actually you've got this very handy here noise oscillator, and it's already got some stuff in here, and I think I was maybe even in this guy here, and I managed to get something a little bit close to what I was looking for out of this particular oscillator. So if I just turn on retrig and key track, so it sort of fits in with these 3 oscillators and plays the same key and stuff like that. If I just, again, I'll just have to turn these down, hopefully I can remember, so I can show you exactly what I'm doing here with this sound that's going to be added in. There's a little bit of difference here when you move that round. So I think that's a pretty good, I think this is going to combine nicely, particularly with this last oscillator here, but we'll add them in now. So this last 3rd oscillator over here had 2 voices, that one there 1. Okay. So it's a very subtle difference, but I still think it's just adding a nice, it just kind of helps thicken out the sound a bit more, which is obviously ultimately all good. Okay. Now also, I'm going to go in here, I think maybe to the chorus. I'm going to turn it on. Don't need too much of it. So it's just a subtle change there, just helps again, just to thicken it out a little. And then we'll have a tweak in the distortion here, see if we can bring out any harmonics that we might be looking for. obviously some high pass in there because I don't want any of this distortion to happen, you know, down too low in the frequencies. So again, it's very subtle, but it's just adding a little bit of character to the sound. Without. Sort of working more again, like I was doing with the high pass here. I'm just redirecting some of the the distortion to the mid frequencies where this really needs to sort of cut through. Okay. Now we might even go in here to the to this built-in EQ. Just unbypass it, click on the edit button, and it brings us to our controls here. And just see what I can maybe work a bit on the mids here and maybe a little bit on the highs. Without and with. So that's cool. I think that is, already sounding like it's going to be, giving us that sort of very characteristic of the future house sound. Might add a little bit of slide. You can hear that's too much. I'm only thinking a little bit, just back down here somewhere. Just to help, to get that sound as you switch between the notes. But I think we're sounding pretty good actually right there. And we can, obviously you saw that I didn't do any delay or any reverb within Anna. Now Anna has great reverb and delay. It's just that I think I'm going to try and get a little bit more control with another reverb that I'll program in. So if I was to bring this across here and with the kick, now we'll do some sidechaining and see how it's sounding. See if we can get things to show a bit of promise. So it gets way too loud, obviously. So straight away we need to put some sidechaining in there. I'm going to go with the volume shapers again. It's very important that you try and get the sidechaining right, obviously, because you need to be able to hear the kick cut through. That is a huge must. But also because this main synth is actually quite plucky, if you sidechain too much and you really take out too much of the attack, therefore you're hardly going to hear any of the synth at all, especially when it's playing on the same downbeat as the kick. So much sidechain will just take out basically the whole synth, and you'll be basically missing a note. So it's really important just to take your time and get the right sidechaining. So that should be fine for now. I think that's a pretty safe one. We can obviously tweak as we go. Okay, great. So maybe even just try it with some of the claps. Probably the claps need to come down a little bit in volume. Now that's a bug that I've been finding in Logic. I'm pressing X and I'm only getting this one channel here, even though I'm trying to move myself to the left. I have number 3 on my keyboard set up. Oh, look at that, still No, I don't know what the problem is there. I probably need to just restart it. But what I'm going to do when I get this damn thing up and running, there you go, now it's working. I'm going to turn down the claps. That's a better level. Obviously now we've got to do some more processing, because with all these feature house sounds, and I think mainly, a lot of the good songs in the drop, they really only have one sound playing. Now, whether that sound is made up of 4 or 5 layers, that's quite often the case. But a lot of these sounds, particularly with Don Diablo tracks, when it comes into the drop, it's not like he's trying to fit 2 or 3 different sounds, or like melodies playing together, and he tries to get them all working at the same time. You just try and have one good, simple but catchy, riff or melody, and you really build that sound up with layers, reverb, and delay, and you just make that one sound the main core of the drop. And we're going to do that in this track. So definitely still some more processing that we're going to do with this sound, so that it basically, it fills up the whole drop. So this playing with the drums will be pretty much the whole drop, just like he does in a lot of his songs. So we are still going to put a sub in here. Yeah, so we need to do some more work on this synth.